Can I get your name and where you're from, if you don't mind?
I'm Kai.
Kai, can I get the spelling for you?
Straight out of Dogtown, K-A-I.
Hola Chula! Thank you so much for clicking on to this video, and if you are new here, well then hi, hello, my name is Kai, and if you're coming back to my channel, well then, it's great to see you, babe. Here on my channel, I like to share my experience as a person who has left the Jehovah's Witnesses organization and what it was like to grow up in a high-control Christian cult. You know why you're here, I know why you're here, and there's no sense in delaying this. We are going to finish the Prodigal Son Returns, the propaganda movie that Watchtower released in 2013. Oh my god, I hated it so much the first time, but I did promise that I would finish it, so we gotta finish it. Last we saw of David, he was actually like running out of his mom and dad's house, proudly declaring his freedom and stating that he was going to answer for himself. We really love that for him, but let's see if it lasts.
Housemates! Here, let me help you with some of that. Thank you. There's still a lot in the car, which is probably parked illegally.
The most offensive thing to me about this movie is that in every single scene that Al is in, he is given this same hairstyle. I find it incredibly hard to believe that this is how he would do his hair literally every single day, even if he is just chilling at home. Also, he looks like season 1 𝗓𝗏𝗀𝗀 from Drake and Josh, and I don't like that.
What do you think? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. David, welcome.
Okay, so this is Anton, and this is Al's worldly cousin that David is going to be moving in with, the one that his parents were so aghast about. He's not in the movie much, but this is Watchtower's depiction of a worldly person, like straight up, like if you've never been a Jehovah's Witness, this is how they perceive you and how they would like the rest of their cult to perceive you. I also think it's kind of funny that like Anton is the only guy pretty much in this whole movie who even has like the slightest bit of facial hair. Like, think about it, no one else had even stubble. Crazy.
Oh, nice. Hey, here's the first month's rent.
Fantastic.
So, of course, because Anton is worldly, he has to be unkempt, his apartment has to be dirty, and he has to love playing violent video games. I also see that there is like beer bottles thrown about everywhere, so this is really their picture of what a worldly person is, how they live their lives. But Anton's just a poor, unfortunate soul who doesn't know the love of Jehovah and his organization.
Anton's girlfriend, Jessica. Jessica, this is David.
The newest roommate. Hey.
Hey, it's nice to meet you.
Same. You want a beer?
I'm okay, thanks.
This is Anton's room?
Wait, does Jessica live here?
Nah, she's just a frequent house guest.
Ooh, Anton is having consensual sex in his own house. How horrid.
Ooh, what did I do to deserve the luxury suite? And with a view.
Hey, Mr. Glass Half Empty, how about you focus on what you're getting? This is yours. Can't put a price on that.
My checkbook says you can.
Chump change soon enough.
So I can totally relate to that experience of moving out on your own in your first place is less than ideal and more like a total shithole. I get that. Okay, but there's merit in what Al is saying. He's saying like it doesn't matter how bad it is or how bad you think it is because this is yours. That first place after you leave your mom and dad's house, it could be the worst place you've ever lived in your whole life, but the fact that it's yours makes you so proud to have that. I want you to pay attention to how the shots are filmed in the apartment or just like the colors of the scenes, because I think that there is some messaging behind the way that they color the scenes of David at the apartment and the way that they colored the scenes of David living at his mom and dad's house.
Oh yeah, party spreadsheet.
Now all we gotta do is fill it with names.
Again, who cares how much money he makes? You deserve better than that. Girl, I would have put the final nail in that coffin a long time ago if I was in your shoes.
He bought me these shoes, actually.
Very funny.
What I failed to point out in the last video is that all of these people that are acting in this movie are Jehovah's Witnesses, probably grew up as Jehovah's Witnesses, and they have no idea how worldly people or just people in general talk. They have no idea how to have these interactions naturally or with any sense of authenticity because they literally don't know. Like, even the people who were writing this script have no idea how people talk in real life. That's why all of their conversations and all of the dialogue just sounds so forced and weird.
What are you really up to?
A little housewarming party next weekend, and it just so happens that we have openings for a number of attractive females.
About 70, to be precise.
Well, count me in.
Did you say next weekend? I think we have plans then. Could I get back to you on that?
Serious, Taylor, you've got to move on from him.
You're right. You know what? I could do with some serious drinking myself.
Good choice.
Who says that? Who says I could do some serious drinking myself? You'll see this a few times in this next half of the movie, that in order to portray them as worldly, Watchtower feels like it has to do everything to the extreme.
Hey, Phillips. Big party, huh? Lots of booze? Really?
Yeah, well, guest list is a little tight, otherwise I'd invite you.
Not likely. Say, Al, your buddy David here told me the other week that you two are Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, so?
Interesting. I never knew that. You know, my wife talks about the Bible with a witness woman. She comes by the house.
That's great, Will.
Can't say I agree with them, but what I've been hearing about Jehovah's Witnesses and what I know about you, well, let's just say there seems to be a discrepancy. That's all.
Immediately after someone said that to me, I would be walking down to HR and saying, I don't like that. Also, it's like Al's right not to bring that to work, because if he doesn't feel like it's anyone else's business, then that's his decision.
You told me that you were a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we shouldn't talk about religion at work.
Don't be silly, we're at lunch. I had some neighbors, they were Jehovah's. No offense, nice people. Just a little too devoted.
Well, they live what they believe.
What do you believe?
How do you answer that question? Because I never found out. I never found the right way to synthesize it for someone. Trying to explain your beliefs as a Jehovah's Witness intelligibly is unnecessarily difficult, and I'm curious to see how they handle this.
Well, we believe that God's name is Jehovah. His son is Jesus Christ. Humans will be restored to perfection and live forever on a paradise earth, and that the dead will be resurrected. That's just scratching the surface, really.
Wow.
And that's just scratching the surface, really. Conveniently, David left out the part where they believe that every person who is not a Jehovah's Witness will be killed by Jehovah during the Great Tribulation. He also left out the part where they don't believe in blood transfusions, and as a result, almost 30,000 people have died since 1961, and that these rules are completely arbitrary. And he also left out the fact that if Vivian or Taylor ever became a Jehovah's Witness themselves, that they would be immediately demoted to second-class citizen status due to the fact that they were born women.
I vaguely remember that you don't celebrate birthdays.
Yeah, that's true.
What's wrong with birthdays?
We have no problem if other people celebrate theirs, but we don't because they have pagan origins, and the Bible doesn't really put them in a favorable light.
Al, last year when we threw you a party, you didn't say anything.
I don't really make a big deal about that stuff. It's a conscience thing.
No,
You know,
it's
we
not.
really should be back to work.
Wait, doesn't your religion punish
Yes,
people
they
when they
do.
do something bad?
Well, there's certain things that the Bible condemns.
And if you get caught, you get a lecture, promise not to do it again, cry a few tears. It's pretty straightforward.
It's not like every religion.
It's not quite like that. If someone commits a serious sin, confesses it, is sorry, and doesn't do it again, then they lose privileges in the congregation.
Look at Al. Look at how uncomfortable he is right now, because this is an uncomfortable thing to talk about, because it's unnatural. It's unnatural to sit there and explain how shunning is a positive thing.
But what if they aren't sorry?
Or what if they keep doing it?
Well, then they may get disfellowshipped.
Wow, you mean like kicked out?
Not exactly. They can still come to congregation meetings, they're just not allowed to socialize with anyone.
Seriously?
Wow, that sounds a bit extreme.
I tend to agree. Why don't we see if the conference room's open?
Okay. So, what's going on, man?
What is with you?
What?
Why'd you have to bring up all that disfellowshipping stuff? And birthdays?
I didn't bring it up, they did.
Why didn't you just tell them about Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny while you were at it?
They wanted to know. What was I supposed to do?
Change the subject! Like, you can't shove our beliefs down their throats!
I wasn't shoving anything.
Listen, talking about religion at work is never a good idea. Such a turnoff, especially with certain people.
His performance is giving George Costanza. I'm kind of here for it, to be honest. But in my opinion, Al is totally in the right. If he doesn't want to share his beliefs, especially ones that make him look like a bad person, why would he? Like, that's totally his right. And the fact that David is like confused about this just really speaks to how Watchtower wants their people to be. You never, ever, ever get to take a break from being a witness. And so to hear from Al that he doesn't want his beliefs known, that he doesn't like to talk about it, or that he's actively trying to like fade away from it, it's shocking to him. It's confusing to him, because that's literally what they're told all the time, that you have to be preaching and teaching wherever you go.
Listen, you said what you needed to say. I just think it's best if we keep our beliefs to ourselves from now on.
And that's fine.
Look, I'm sorry about losing it. It's all this pressure I'm under. Are we cool?
Yeah, we're fine.
All right, let's get back to work.
David is rethinking the whole foundation of this friendship, because Al is like quiet about his beliefs. And the sting, you can hear it. You can hear the shift. Oh, what have I done? I've made such a horrible decision trusting in Al. See? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They have no other, there's no subtlety. None at all. How do we convey that this is a worldly party where they're gonna have a bathtub full of alcohol? Oh my god. It's not a frat house, it's a fucking 3-bedroom apartment.
I know our son. His behavior lately, that outburst, that's not the David of 6 months ago. Maybe James is right about Al.
Whether he is or isn't, David's an adult now, and he's not under our roof.
That man's eyebrows have been carrying his performance this whole time.
Did we do our best to train them?
You know, we could have always done something different, but we trained them by our example to put spiritual things first. We were always open with them. We listened, took them on family vacations. We studied with them, and we showed them love. And you know what else? They had the most loving, caring mother in the entire world. So yes, we did our best to train them. Now it's up to David not to turn aside as he gets older.
This is especially irritating to me, because I know that when my parents view material like this, or material about like wayward children or disfellowshipped children, it makes them think of me. And I'm sure if you're in the same position as I am, I'm sure your parents think about you too whenever they see this, and it's got to just tug on their heartstrings. Because that's an experience of pain that they relate to. What David is doing is the equivalent of committing spiritual suicide in his parents' mind. Because he's decided that he wants to make his own choices and not let his choices be made for him by the organization. Oh, it makes me so mad. Uh-oh, smoking. Uh-oh, ladies with short haircuts. That's all we get to see. This is more or less what I was talking about a couple minutes ago, where you can really tell the difference between the scenes in the apartment and the scenes at his mom and dad's house. in his mom and dad's house, there's lots of natural light. It's very bright, sunny, warm, open. In his apartment, the saturation is turned down. It's colder, it looks dreary, it's messy. Again, this is one of like those little things that they're doing to communicate. If you ever leave, then your world is going to be cold and gray and sad, and bad things are going to happen to you. It's almost kind of lazy, actually, now that I think about it. I think it's pretty lazy of them to do this.
I don't care what it takes. I want this done by deadline.
He is one of our biggest clients. It's due by tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're gonna finish this if it takes all night.
Look at how hard David's life is now. People that were praising him are now being mean to him, and he can't keep up with his workload. His life was so much easier when he was a Jehovah's Witness. Yes, wow, go figure. At work you have stress. At work you have things that you need to get done. Oh my God, who knew? I especially hate that because Watchtower infamously has another drama that they released about a girl who was disfellowshipped, not just like left her mom and dad's house. She was disfellowshipped, and she was trying to call her mom, and her mom literally hung up on her, saw who was calling and was like, nope, can't talk to you because you're disfellowshipped and I have to shun you, even though you're my own kid, and it would be natural for me to want to talk to you and see how you are. What if it was an emergency? What if she needed something? What if she was in danger and you were the only person that she could rely on? So it's just like really kind of gross. It's just another one of those instances where you can't have it both ways. Leaving during the song. Been there. If you go camping on a Saturday where you should have been in service, Jehovah doesn't love you. David has grown up his whole life believing that the only sexual experiences he would ever have would be with a woman that he was married to for the rest of his life. And he's a normal person as far as we know, and he has feelings like anyone else, and he has hormones and urges and impulses like anybody else, and so heaven forbid him from acting out on his urges. That's like one of the penultimate things, and you can tell because listen to the way that they changed the music. That's like one of the worst things that David could have done so far is look at fucking boobs on the internet. Like, I mean, like, that is so damaging to people. That kind of repression is so damaging. His whole life, he has never been able to do anything for himself about it, and he's never been able to have anyone else do anything about it. So is he just supposed to, like, forget about it? It's, like, kind of near to impossible to ignore, so... I feel like these are the actions of people who have literally lost their child in death. When all that's happened is that David just moved out. He moved out. He got a different job. You could still have a very fulfilling relationship with him if you wanted to. He could still be just as much a part of your life as he was if you wanted to. He's not dead. You can still, literally, you can call him. You can talk to him. But in their mind, because of the actions that he's taken, he is dead. He is dead to Jehovah, and therefore he's dead to them.
You're gonna want to look your best tomorrow. We all have to put on a good show.
Really?
Do me a favor, get this to Al, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, bro, get the email?
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's not every day corporate makes a special house call. Word on the street is that they are ecstatic about all the business our branch brought in.
What does that mean for us?
My guess, they beef up our budget and we all get a fat bonus.
By we all, does that include me?
Oh, I'm sure. And you'll probably get a raise, too.
That would be awesome. I have a killer credit card bill overdue.
Yeah, have no worries. By next month, your 𝗀𝗶𝗶 shall runneth over. That's a scripture, isn't it?
A scary IT guy. There's a guy like that. Almost every place I've ever worked at had like an odd IT guy, or just like intimidating for no reason. I'm sorry that I don't know how my computer works, mister, but please don't look at me like that. Like, don't let someone who listens to Tool talk shit to you. That's all I'm trying to say.
Hi, Mr. Benson. Yes, sir. I'll be right in. All right.
You have been a great part of the team. For someone who came here with no experience, it's been a real pleasure watching you learn the ropes, and I think you have a great future ahead of you. I really mean that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
That's why what I have to say is very difficult. I just found out from corporate that they're transferring several accounts to the West Coast office. I have no choice but to cut staff. Unfortunately, I have to let you go.
What? I don't understand.
I know. These things are never easy.
When?
The company policy is pretty strict. It's effective immediately. Now, you haven't been here long, but I can probably arrange for you to get 2 weeks severance.
2 weeks?
Listen, if anything opens up in the future, I'll keep you in mind. And please, feel free to use me as a reference.
Okay. Fine. Is that an actual real thing that could really happen to you and be really bad and stuff? Yes. But Watchtower can't say that this is a problem for David because he left the organization or because he's pursuing worldly endeavors over spiritual things. It's not a problem with pursuing worldly endeavors. It's a problem with capitalism. This is a consequence of the system that we're in because we don't have any social safety net. This is the only reason why they can use this against David. Oh, look at you got this great new job, but what happens when it's taken away from you? That's a reality that everyone lives in every single day, not just people who don't believe in God, not just people who are Jehovah's Witnesses. That's something that could happen to you literally whenever.
What went wrong?
I don't know. Was I supposed to be this way? I had no idea.
I mean, all this time I've been putting in, I've devoted my whole life to this company.
Look, Dave, we'll get you another.
You could say the same thing. You could say the same thing about being a witness. Look at all of this time that I've spent. Look at how much of my life I've given to you. And what have you given to me? You could say literally the same thing.
I know people at other places.
In this economy, are you kidding me? I can't believe this.
Come on, calm down.
That's easy for you to say. You still have a job. You're not broke.
Hello? Yes, he's here.
Really?
I will never forget when they walked in with my purse in a box. That whole walk out to your car too is so unnecessarily shameful.
Could you come with me to your desk?
Remember, don't tell anyone you're unemployed. Tell them you're in transition. And don't worry, I got friends at other companies. I'll make some calls when I have some time.
Time? Dude, I don't have time.
Hey, come on, have a little faith. Trust me, we'll get you something.
Trust you. That's exactly what I did, and look where it got me.
Whoa, easy, pal. I got you in. I set you up, didn't I?
Do me a favor and just stop talking. I shouldn't drive. We can take the train. I'll get my car in the morning.
The train at this hour? What are you, crazy?
Fine, we'll take a taxi.
A taxi? You barely had anything to drink.
I had enough. I'm not driving.
Fine, I'll drive.
That's not a good idea, and you know it. Come on, give me my keys back.
Look, maybe you don't know how to handle your liquor, but I do. You're starting to sound like my mother. Just get in the car.
Who put that there?
Dude, you totally just ran a red light. It just turned red. There wasn't even a car in sight. Why don't you stop whining? Oh, I cannot believe this. Perfect. I told you we should have taken the train. What are you doing? Why are you speeding up? Far enough ahead, I can lose him. Are you out of your mind? I'm not about to lose my license. Oh, you should have thought of that before you took my keys. This is ridiculous, dude. What do you... Come on, man. Just pull over. Does this car have anything in it?
There was no commitment. That's all I wanted. I just wanted a little bit of commitment to the bit.
Can you slow down? Just shut up! I'm trying to concentrate! On what? Getting us killed? What are you doing?
Is it just me, or was that, like, anticlimactic? You know, like, you can either give me after school special or you can't.
Oh, we gotta go now!
So Al turned out to be a snake. Who could have seen it coming? That's also just like wildly out of character to go from being like a straight-laced guy to being suddenly someone who's like willing to involve themselves in a police chase. Like, and then turning on your friend, turning on like one of your childhood friends and just leaving them to get arrested. Like,
David Barker? Security cameras corroborated your story. Your buddy's been arrested.
Hey, Taylor, it's David.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
That Al did that. What was he thinking?
I don't know. I've never seen him like that.
Well, hopefully he can get a good lawyer and sort everything out.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure he'll think of something. It is Al, after all.
True. What about you? What are you going to do now?
I figured out what her problem is. It's that her voice is relatively emotive, but her face does not match the voice. Her face is not giving me the voice. The face is not giving me the inflections. I want to believe it. It's not enough to hear it, but I want to see it too.
I guess start by getting a job. Any job. And other than that, I'm not sure.
You're a talented, honest, hardworking guy. Something is going to come your way. I know it.
Oh, they're like trying to depict sexual tension and it just ain't there, baby.
Well, Taylor, thank you for letting me use your dryer and having me over.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it. But it's getting late. probably should go.
No, that's crazy. It's pouring outside. You'll just get soaked. You could stay here until it stops.
It could rain all night. I should get going.
That's okay. You could sleep on the couch if you have to. You are not going out in this.
Well then, I guess the decision has been made for me.
It has. Besides, we still have this bottle of wine to finish.
Besides, we still have this bottle of wine to finish.
Seriously, though, I'm really going to miss working with you.
I'm really going to miss working with you.
David, please don't go home tonight.
I know it didn't feel like it, but yes, there was supposed to be a sexual tension building there, and we're supposed to assume that they, you know. I just want to point out that song that they're playing in the background is actually one of their songs, and it's a song typically used for when somebody dies, like they would use it at a funeral. So I think that it's kind of telling the way that they're using it here, how they're supposed to view this thing that David has done, presumably, which is sleep with Taylor, that he has died, in fact.
Jehovah, can you ever forgive me?
This is the culmination of years and years of repression, a lifetime of repression, bubbling up to the surface because David has done something that he has perceived to be unclean his whole life. Is it really that big of a deal in the greater scheme of things? Absolutely not. And I think I've said it before that virginity is a social construct. So whether you are or you are not a virgin shouldn't really matter because it doesn't mean anything. I feel like they just threw it all at the wall. They just, whatever could happen, we're going to say that it happened to this one person because you're supposed to identify with David. If you're wavering in your faith, you're spiritually weak, you're supposed to identify with David. Look at what could happen to you. Look at all of these horrible things that have happened to David because he left. So reconsider that. He fell asleep reading his Bible. Very subtle. Very subtle. So, like earlier, how I pointed out how Anton's apartment was kind of disheveled. Well, look at this shot of David's room now. All of his stuff is just thrown about. He's clearly not keen to pick up after himself when previously his room was pristine. Was his mom cleaning for him? Like, is that what they're trying to suggest? Like, has he been totally infantilized by his parents his whole life? Yes. I don't understand that. Like, being disorganized is a characteristic of worldly sinful people, apparently.
When a person sins, even seriously, and shows true repentance by abandoning his wrong course and making every effort to do what is right, he's not a lost cause.
Beat me over the head with the point.
And break out the sunglasses, because by tomorrow night, we should be in the clear. We'll have the complete forecast with all the details for you right after sports.
Well, looks like we're going to be working indoors one more day. Better get to bed.
Well, don't forget, honey, trash pickup is tomorrow.
David!
Dad, I'm so sorry.
It's just emotionally manipulative. That's all I can really say. It basically does the same thing the paradise is supposed to do. Like, eventually your loved ones will see the error of their ways if you just keep praying and you keep going to meetings and you keep yourself strong, so that when they inevitably come back, you'll be there for them. That whole time, David could have been emotionally supported by his parents as he was in this transitional phase of his life. There was no reason that they couldn't have extended that to him, but they didn't want to because he was doing things that they didn't want him to do. They couldn't support him in something that wasn't spiritual. And so literally he suffered for no reason. He had it bad. He was down bad for no reason. The whole time he had a loving family who could have been there for him, but they chose not to be there. They chose to drive him away instead. And the only reason that they're welcoming him back now is because he's promising to change. He's promising to go back to the way he was before. They don't really love David in the way that you want to see your child grow and you want to see your child progress. They only love them for what you have to pretend to be. They could have just been happy for him. Do you think about that? They could have just been happy for him. And then the movie wouldn't have happened. Because they were normal and they were just like proud of their son. So fucked up, right? So weird, right?
Son, if your heart is condemning you, then just remember that the Bible assures us that God is greater than our hearts. We serve a loving and merciful Father.
I know.
So loving that he will force everyone to shun you if you ever do anything to disobey him. So loving.
But Dad, what if I get disfellowshipped?
A very real thing that could happen and would be awful.
I've already caused you and Mom so much pain.
If that happens, then we're going to work with it. David.
Which means I 100% am going to shun you even though you're my son and you live in my house.
These brothers really care about you.
No, they don't.
So whatever they decide, we need to view it as an expression of Jehovah's love.
So human men are making decisions for Jehovah to communicate his love. And also it's an expression of love to have everyone shun you and pretend that you're dead.
Thank you, Dad. Thanks.
I'll be right here when you're done.
Thank you. It feels really good to be back in Jehovah's house again.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I could be wrong, but it does sound like something that someone who was in a cult would say. So David just got done with his judicial committee where he had to admit to all the naughty things that he did while he was gone and beg for forgiveness. And it looks like it worked because he was not disfellowshipped. Sounds familiar. Isn't that exactly what Al said, like literally 30 minutes ago?
The joy of Jehovah is our stronghold. His name all men must come to know. With constant devotion to our God and King, godly joy and service we will show.
Hey, James. You two are in a good mood. We thought, why not have a meal for your brother and have a few friends over?
So we're having David's favorites: roast beef, mashed potatoes, green beans, and apple pie.
Yes.
John, I forgot the whipped cream. Could you run to the store and pick some up for us?
You're kidding me, right? Get your own whipped cream.
That was my favorite thing he said this whole movie. Get your own whipped cream. Oh no, he's gonna run away from home. Very mature men in their 20s.
So, where are you planning to go?
I don't know. Probably to a friend's house. I just gotta get out of here for a while. I just don't get it. I'm the one who sticks with the family business. I'm the one who remains faithful. I try and do everything right. No one's singing when I get home. No one's throwing me a party.
Son. Please.
We don't celebrate you because, to be honest, you're kind of a dick. He's not going to say that, but I wish he would. I wish he would.
You have stuck with us. You have been faithful. Your mother and I love you for that. And I'm so proud of you. He's back now.
What choice did he have? He spent all of his money doing who knows what, and you just let him back in.
He's shown repentance.
After what he said to me, what he's done to us, I warned him. I practically begged him, and he just ignored it.
Your brother was spiritually dead. But now he's come back to life. And he needs you now more than ever. Can't you find some way to forgive him and to welcome him back?
I know that's what I'm supposed to do. But I just don't feel that way.
To be honest, I think, okay, I agree with James. I think that he is perfectly right to feel slighted because, yeah, he has given up literally his whole adult life serving the organization, working in his father's business, never doing anything for himself, never pursuing any of his own interests or forming any of his own opinions. And suddenly David's got a taste of the world, decided that he didn't like it, and now he wants back in because it's so hard. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with James. I wish that James wasn't awful, but I agree. I understand why he's upset.
James, you're home.
Not for long. I just had to grab a few things.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Let me cut it with everyone else, but not with me. I'm not so gullible.
I know this is all my fault. I wish I could go back and do things differently.
Well, the damage is done, isn't it?
For all the bad things that I've done. And I know now how much you cared about me, but how much you loved me. And I didn't care. And I wouldn't listen. You were right about so many things. James, I'm asking you, as your little brother, please forgive me.
No tears.
Because
No
if you
tears. Neither
I
of
can't
them.
live with myself.
No tears. What bad things did David even really do? What did he do? This whole movie, what did he do? He accepted a new job. He was hanging out with his friend. He moved to the city. He lost his job. Then he was involved in a car accident. And then he had sex with someone that he was close-ish to. All of these bad things. He wasn't like selling heroin. Watchtower made this because they want to communicate to all of their members that if you leave, bad things will happen to you. But I need you to understand that regardless of what you believe or where you are in life, bad things can happen to you no matter what. But good things also happen to you as well. And that's just the nature of life. I gaslighted myself so much when I was first leaving the organization because I was nervous. I was nervous that bad things, really bad things, were going to happen to me and that I was going to ruin my whole life. And I've struggled a lot with that feeling of thinking, well, God, if I just went back, even though I know it's not true, if I just pretended, then I could be with my family again. And I think that's probably a real thing that a lot of us think sometimes. But just seeing this, it makes me realize like how conditional that love is. It's so contingent on you saying the right things and looking the right way and only doing what you're told to do. David could have had a family who supported him and was proud to see that he was trying to make something of himself. Not that he couldn't make something of himself just working with his dad, but he was trying to stretch beyond what he was given and make his own life.
Careful, bro. Don't mess up your clothes.
I'm good.
Oh, did you want to call Johnny and Mel, see if they can play some ball tonight?
Yeah, actually, I'm supposed to work out in service of Johnny this morning, so I'll ask him, and then I'll call Mel at lunch, and then I'll check to make sure the courts are open.
Okay, so David, what's your schedule looking like for next week?
Well, I was hoping to go out in service on Wednesday and Friday, and then planning to work the other days.
Perfect. How about you, James?
Well, if I go out on Monday, I'll have my time for the month, so I can start work Tuesday.
You're telling me you got your time in for the month already? I hope I can make it work.
I know you will. When you start pioneering, we'll make a good team.
Now, however, there remain faith, hope, love. These three. But the greatest of these is love.
Okay, so of course, I mean, it has to end with David going back and falling right in line, and I think it's really gross that they asked him all of those questions about his schedule so that he could exposition dump on the audience that, oh yes, I'm working towards becoming a regular pioneer now because fuck my dreams, fuck whatever I want to do with my life. That was the end of the movie. Trying to think of any last minute things that I didn't think of. Even the weather in this movie was communicating hard times. It was stormy almost every night that David was out on his own, and then as soon as he came back to his mom and dad's house, conveniently the weather was going to start clearing up. So I guess you could take that to mean like, oh, he came back home, therefore the bad times are over, or you could take that to mean if you waited out a little bit more, it's not going to be bad forever. Okay, I can't. This is the worst video ever, but that is my video. So if you like this video, then you can leave it a like, and if you like me, then you can subscribe to this channel where I will be making more videos, hopefully ones that I actually don't cause me physical harm to do. Yes. But as always, Chulas, I hope that you are having a beautiful, wonderful, amazing rest of your day. I don't ever want to do this again.